next impulse, and therefore we have to rebuild our stage a little bit, so don't be confused by that. Well, we all know that time is changing. I mean, in the past years, in the past decades, OEMs didn't have to try hard to innovate, but this slow-moving market, it's for sure over. So what do we have to do now? What they have to do now? They have to put customers, and especially the customer experience, in the middle of their developments. And we will now like to hear more about what Ford has learned from their customers. Please welcome on stage Usha Raghavachari. She is Innovation Lab Director at Ford London, Ford Motor Company. Welcome.
Imagine a world where technology advances are used in service of humanity, solving real problems, meeting real needs, and creating magical innovation. Good morning, everybody. My name is Usha Raghavachari. I'm the lab director for Ford in London, working for Ford Motor Company. I'm super excited to be with you all here this morning, and hello for the folks online. I'm going to talk about three things in our session today. Tell you a little bit about our Ford journey, tell you and share a few of the things that we've done for real inside Ford, and also hopefully find something that you will find useful, share some learnings from our journey so far in Ford. Why is customer-driven design and innovation basically going to beat technology-driven innovation? Interesting to have that discussion here at IFA. I'm happy to fight with any of you who have a different point of view after this presentation, but hopefully I can persuade a few of you of our perspective. Going back in time a little bit, Ford is 118 years old this year. And if I reflect on the journey, that very long journey, the innovation that Henry Ford actually brought to the world was actually in manufacturing and business model innovation. Until then, cars had been hand-built and were really only for the elite few, as they were super expensive and only incredibly affluent customers could afford them. But by creating the modern production line, he basically transformed the opportunities of millions of customers, transforming the automotive landscape forever, and literally opened the highways to all of humanity, enabling economic prosperity for millions of people around the world. Now, that was over a century ago, and a lot of things have changed in the world that we live in. And it's a very different place. There are very new challenges that we are facing. And it's not only changing, it's changing at an incredible and ever faster pace. I'd like to talk a little bit about that pace of change and some of the things that we are looking at inside Ford Motor Company. So within mobility and the automotive industry, we see huge forces of change. Cars are becoming connected devices on wheels, a little bit like your mobile phone. We're accelerating at tremendous pace towards electrification as the climate agenda is driving customer desire and increasing government regulation and action. And ultimately, we'll arrive at autonomy. This is a picture of an Argo AI vehicle that we're running in many, many cities around the world in pilot programs. So imagine the kinds of experiences that you could have in an autonomous vehicle. Anyone fancy a nap on the way to the office tomorrow morning? Or perhaps even a workout? That would be pretty amazing. In addition to what's happening inside the automotive space and mobility more broadly, we're seeing a whole number of new alternatives and new business models. Electrification has basically reduced the barriers of entry into the automotive space, much simpler products, smaller number of parts, And so we're seeing many startups entering to challenge the existing OEMs. Also, new business models, as younger consumers are much more open to different business models as they're seeing digital transform many, many different industries. And this creates new opportunities, new behaviors, and new expectations for our customers that we are trying to anticipate. In addition, data is pouring into the business from these new connected and electric vehicles, creating our bigger connected ecosystems. And this new real-time intelligence is creating a degree of transparency and changing the clock speed of our innovation processes. And of course, automation is hitting every industry on the planet, creating new challenges for our customers, whether they're retail customers or business customers, and again, creating new opportunities for us from an innovation perspective. And all of this set in a context of an ever-connected world, which is facing huge turbulence and uncertainty today. The pandemic, war, climate catastrophe, political instability, supply shortages, the impact on the economy. It's a little scary. It's a little bit depressing. But what it creates, this chaos and this uncertainty, is an incredible opportunity for real customer-driven, human-centered design. We're living in a very strange world of high inflation, where companies are shifting and transforming their business models, some hiring and rebalancing their talent pipeline, others restructuring, becoming more efficient, and reducing their talent. It feels like everything is happening all together, all at the same time. And all of this instability is making our customers feel more uncertain about the future and more anxious. And younger generations are actually making more spontaneous decisions later in the process and planning less for the future. So how do we offer people more flexibility to adapt more quickly? And the last area that we're really interested in is health and well-being. Obviously, we've all felt the effects of the pandemic over the last couple of years, but it's great that we're having a conversation, not just about physical health, but also mental health and well-being much more openly. And how do we design for that in our future experiences? So much change, and I've just picked a few examples for the purposes of today. How do we keep up with all of that change? Well, you would expect me, given the title of this presentation, to not say anything other than the answer starts with the customer. Inside D4, we are obsessed with our customers and learning about them. We spend thousands of hours every year super stalking them. We ride with them in their vehicles, we go to their homes, we visit their offices and their places of work and play. We understand not only their pain points that we can see visibly and that the hacks that they're using, but actually we deeply understand their emotional needs, their fears, their hopes, and their dreams. And so all of that human insight is a critical input into our process. But now, as I said, the world is changing. So we have, in addition to that human insight, all of this real-time data that's coming into the business in real time. We're understanding and getting a much deeper flow of data that we're combining with that human insight that helps us create even better and more exciting products and services. It's also fundamentally changing the clock speed of our business. We don't just spend time deeply understanding the needs of our customers. The other critical part of our process is deeply understanding what's happening in the world around us. So we're constantly looking for signals of what's to come, what is going to change that's going to impact the lives of our customers and change their opportunities in the future. And this futuring helps us imagine future needs and anticipate them, again, to create new products and services. Our process is super simple. This is a simple version of a very complicated process. We spend a lot of time learning, both about customers and the future. We rapidly create ideas, which we take, prototype, test, learn, refine, to get a smaller number of brilliant ideas. And our aim is to get those into the hands of our customers as quickly as possible. So that all sounds lovely. I hear you cry. But what have you actually done for us lately? So I've just picked a couple of examples of what we've done to make it real. A lot of what we're working on right now, I'm afraid I can't share. You all seem like lovely people, and I'd have to kill you straight after I tell you, so that would be a little bit rubbish, I think. So a few things are out in the public domain already. So the truck business for Ford Motor Company is a multi-billion-dollar business. We've just launched the new F-150 Lightning electric vehicle, and a lot of the work that we do in the truck space, again, is super stalking truck customers. And what we discovered is they spend a lot of time at the back of the vehicle, mostly for play, sometimes for fun. And what we created is this innovative new tailgate system that takes a lot of the things that they do on their job site. They use it as a workbench. They do a lot of measuring. They do a lot of clamping. And all of these elements we've fully integrated into the tailgate already in anticipation of what we see them doing. Simple example. Another example, one that's close to my heart. During the pandemic, Ford Motor Company invested a huge amount of resource, human resource and money. We made over 1 million face masks, face shields, ventilators, which we donated to medical institutions and customers who were not able to get them, access them themselves, and volunteers. It made me feel very proud to be a part of the Ford family. But one thing we did observe is, as we were all wearing these awful things for such a long time, is our ability to communicate with others was significantly impacted. Much of communication, as you know, is visual. Awful for us, but imagine if you are hearing impaired, 10 times worse. And so we created this see-through mask. It's a medical-grade mask. You'd think, well, of course, that makes perfect sense. And if you're hearing impaired, just imagine removing another sense that they rely upon for communications. But by creating it, what we were finding is that actually many other vocations also found it really valuable. So if you're a teacher trying to communicate with children, facial expressions are really important as part of that learning process. If you're a medical professional trying to communicate with someone in distress in an emergency room, it's also really valuable. So actually, we created it for the hearing impaired, but many other types of customers are really excited and interested about it. And then the last example, we spend a lot of time in the commercial business, and so 7 out of 10 fleet managers who run fleets of commercial vans tell us downtime, so if a breakdown happens, that's the worst thing that can happen to their business. They lose income, they impact the reputation of their business, and also they're letting their end customer down, which is really bad. And so it's probably the worst thing that can happen. And so we created and launched last year a new connected uptime system that brings together all the signals from our connected commercial vehicles with a Ford Live uptime center with real human beings and our dealer network. And this system anticipates issues, alerts the dealers, and everything happens in the process far faster to get that van back up and running and back on the road as quickly as possible. And it can save, and it is saving, millions of dollars for many of those customers. We have 250,000 of those connected transits on the road today, and we'll have over 1 million of those by the middle of next year. Just a few examples that I thought would maybe bring to life some of the work that we're doing. What I'd love to finish with is just sharing a few of my personal lessons as we've been on this journey, and we'll run through these quickly. So, in no particular order. So, experimentation, fail fast. Don't spend years in PowerPoint as you're doing this. If you're in this space and you're looking at driving innovation in your business, try things, get them out there, test your hypothesis, fail fast, move on. Lesson 1. Lesson 2, and I don't need to say this again, but spend a lot of time with your customers, live in their shoes, have deep empathy, share things with them. They're not going to tell you the answer, but they're going to tell you and share their reactions and help you navigate that future. Diversity, it's a philosophy for us inside D-Ford, super important. I have 18 different nationalities in my team in London right now, and they come from all different backgrounds, experiences, businesses, critical to have all those different perspectives when you're driving real change and real innovation in an incredibly large, complex organization like Ford. Build to learn, super important. Making is a critical part of our process. We make to think. Our ideas develop further as we're building our first prototypes. And they're super simple. So in cardboard, plastic, and we make to experiment. We love making. And if you ever get a chance to visit our lab in London, we do a lot of this. Be prepared to pivot. Don't fall in love with your babies. We often say they're sacrificial, they're there for us to learn, and also there for customers to kill. So we make thousands of ideas, and we're prepared to let go of many of them. This we find is one of the hardest things for our design teams to do. Technology is super important, and it's critical even. But it's really important that we use technology advances in service of our customers and anticipating their needs. Research, design research, is a very different thing to validation research. We're not asking the customer for the answer. We're testing our hypotheses, we're understanding obstacles, and we're using that insight as inspiration to design our future solutions. No idea is a bad idea. Suspend judgment early in the process. Generate lots and lots of ideas, go really wide. Extra crazy ideas are likely to be the ones that actually have the biggest potential. So please hold on at the beginning. Don't crush those ideas too early. Radical candor. So we have a motto that it's really important, whether you've been in the company for 10 minutes or you've been in the company for 10 years, that everyone has the opportunity and possibility to provide critique, design critique. Invite everyone to look at your ideas and help make your ideas stronger. Inclusiveness. So this is the last point and super important for us. We work together with the business across lots of different areas, and it's really important that we walk in and we're working in collaboration with downstream areas of the company, many of whom are full of SMEs who have incredible experience and talent. They're going to help us make our ideas better. And actually, they're also going to help us neutralize any antibodies that come out to crush any real disruptive innovation and new ideas. So there are some examples of a few of the lessons that we've learned. I've got lots of bruises that I'm happy to share with you all later as we've been on this innovation journey inside Ford. I just wanted to end by sharing a short video of a sprint that we did recently in London, just to give you a little flavor of the chaos and creativity that happens inside Ford. So maybe we can play the video now. We've had our entire Ford lab working on a design sprint on the future of electrification here all week. We've taken ideas from sketches to prototypes in 4 days. We've created digital and physical experiences, created new ideas for services and new business models as well. It's been exciting, exhausting, and exhilarating. And it's amazing to see how much progress we can make when we get a cross-functional team together, give them one mission, and work in a really fast, agile, and focused way. It's been great. Thank you so much for listening. That wraps up my presentation. Thank you very much.
Usha, thank you so much for sharing all of your experiences, your lessons learned with us. Hopefully not kill us afterwards. No, it was amazing to see also the use cases you brought. Really, really amazing. The one thing that I am always asking myself when I hear there's a company that is 118 years old, from my experience, the older a company gets, the bigger a company gets, the harder it gets to drive innovation and change in the company. I mean, that's the big plus all the startups have. They are small, they are flexible, they're agile, but the big companies, they are always called the dinosaurs, like slowly moving. How do you drive innovation and change here?
Yeah, that's a really big question. So I guess a couple of things. One, when we first started D4, we basically set it up like a startup inside the company. And so that was, I guess, our philosophy. We've also, in our hiring, about 80% of my team has come from outside the company. So we're deliberately kind of designing the team with a view to getting that diversity, but also getting that fresh perspective so that they can come in and almost like childlike ask all the whys. Why do you do it like that? Why can't we do that? So that also helps. I think the last area is all around culture and behavior change. So not only do we focus on creating new ideas that are disruptive, we invite the rest of the company in. Most of our project teams are 5 or 6 people, and we invite 1 or 2 folks from inside the business to actually work on the project team. And what that does is they fall in love with our process, and they're actually helping us make the ideas better. But ultimately, they're then going back to their downstream teams that are then working to roll this out inside the business. So that also helps with the white blood cells coming to kill the ideas. I think the behavior change and a new way of working that we are already implementing using human-centered design inside D4, our ambition is that one day, maybe not in the immediate future, but one day, you won't need a D4 because the whole of the company is actually working like that.
Perfect. So that's your tip from your side to us, like bringing the others from the company into the small team, then showing them everything, and then they will bring the message outside.
Yes,
is that
exactly
how you work together with the rest of the company? I mean, it's amazing to have your diverse team and your perfect ideas and you're full of energy, and then you need to bring them to the rest of the 99%.
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, I think we're part of the company, right? So we're not separate. I'm not a fan of being some ivory tower, team that's, we're living in the
crazy
future.
ones.
We're like the crazy people. It's like, no. We're very focused on working on ideas that the business cares about. I call myself a collaborationist. Sounds like it's kind of angry, right? Because we must work together, and we must have those cross-functional teams. Otherwise, we're not going to be successful. And I don't want to be a blockbuster. I have every intention of Ford Motor Company being here for another 100 years.
I think that's the perfect combination, like having all the big pluses from a startup, like a small team and so on, for developing ideas and then bringing it to the big company.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So it's like a startup where I don't have to pitch for money because I can just lean back and, we have significant resources.
Not looking for investors every single month. Perfect.
Exactly.
Usha, thank you from my side. Are there questions from you guys? No questions today. Come on. Get a coffee, wake up. Usha, then thanks a lot. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so
round of
much.
applause.
Vielen Dank. Thanks, guys.